Yeah, so we bombed Iran without congressional approval. So that's an illegal act right there. We killed a bunch of leaders. That's illegal right there. Killed a bunch of innocent people, including a girls' school. That's murder right there. You know, and I don't even support Iran, but Trump is a war criminal, and he will not be prosecuted. You can try to remove him from the office. You can try to impeach him, or you know. But the only time they ever impeach presidents is when they do something stupid domestically, like real stupid. Not to say, I mean, and bad. I mean, but Richard Nixon and Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton, they couldn't get him out the office, even though what he did was wrong. So they say history is made by the victors, right? And yeah, that's sort of true. Because we all know the government killed Martin Luther King Jr. The facts show that through William Pepper, the government killed the local, state, and government killed Martin Luther King Jr. And they found this out through the trial. The state of Memphis versus Lloyd Chowers, you know, who's the owner of the bar grill and who was tied to the mob, and you know, that whole thing down there in the South. So the victors told us and are telling us that Ray Earl was the one lone gunman who killed Martin Luther King Jr. or he actually did it, which he didn't, but the history books say otherwise because who controls history is the victors, right? Martin Luther King Jr. lost. He won a lot of battles, but then eventually he lost his life and lost the war against what he was trying to do, or the war on what he was trying to do. So Martin Luther King Jr. can't tell his story, but the people that killed him, they allowed they were allowed to do what they did and have their agents tell the story of what they say happened. You know what I'm saying? So it is true that history is told by the victors, you know. But does that make it right, though? And the answer is no. And if we're going to talk about patriotism and being American, then one of the first things about being American is you stand up for the Constitution and you stand up for what's right and what's wrong and go against what's wrong, you know? And I hear what some people are saying, you know? But it has nothing to do with Iran being a threat to anybody, because Iran wasn't a threat to anybody. And I don't even support Iran like that, though. I don't support the mullahs. Yeah, sure, the people in Iran deserve their freedom. Now, who's going to control Iran through that freedom it's not going to be them. Because we all know how this is going to turn out, because every time we invade a country in the name of freedom, we end up supporting somebody just as bad or worse. So this is not about freeing anybody. This is about us controlling the world. Controlling the oil of Iran, controlling their economy, and having bases there and just trying. I mean, Trump is honest. He says we should control the world. And that's what the CIA is. The CIA is a tool of that. They use the CIA to control the world through blackmail, co-ops, you know what I'm saying? Assassinations, rigging elections, and all that. So we all know how this is going to turn out. But Iran was not a threat to us. It wasn't even a threat to Israel like that. It was a minor. It was a nuisance through the that little unorganized terrorism network that they have, that Iran was kind of supporting. I don't know if they were supporting them 100% or not, but there's a lot of corruption, corrupt governments. Can't really tell who's who. Like with the United States, back in the day, you couldn't tell who was with the mafia and who was a politician and who was working for the CIA, because it was, that kind of business, that kind of deal. Same thing in Russia today. That's what you get in Iran. But Iran was the most crippled country in the world. Besides, us having sanctions against Iran, there's an embargo. Do you want to put an embargo on Iran? And then you have the EU. I think they had like some kind of sanctions or embargo on Iran as well. So Iran was crippled. That's why when we bombed the crap out of Iran, all they can do is hit little targets here and there with the little mini toy drones. You know what I'm saying? All they do is did damage. Now they did some damage to the oil refineries, but it's not like they're striking mega Israeli ships or U.S. ships like we struck the Iranian ship. You know what I'm saying? That was, man, we blew that sucker up. You know what I'm saying? Blew that sucker up. But at the end of the day, none of this is gonna help us on a day-to-day tip, on the everyday life, because we all still struggling, and it's gonna get worse. So if the country is getting worse, which it is, then what we did to Iran has nothing to do with us. It has something to do with Trump and his circle and those kinds of people, the two-party system, how they want to make money over there in the Middle East. It benefits them. It doesn't benefit us, so. And obviously China, Russia are not doing anything, like I said before. They ain't gonna do anything. I'm pretty sure we could get ourselves involved in a World War III, but I don't think that would be wise. But we could probably still take Russia and China out, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with you. But in order to do that, we would kill innocent people. And an everyday Iranian society, just like an everyday Cuban society, just like here in the United States, just like in Venezuela, there's a divide within the society. I'm not even talking about the government, because all those governments are pretty bad, but there's a divide in the society. So they're a lot of them tend to be indifferent towards each other. So if we kill 40 civilians in Venezuela, half of the population in Venezuela is not going to care. They're just going to say, oh, it was a mistake, but we're free now. That's how indifferent. We're indifferent to each other here in the United States. We video record, people getting beat up, people getting burned, like we don't care either. And so if the Venezuelan society is just as bad, why would we get us involved in Venezuela? Why would the government do that? We want to control Venezuela oil. We want to control, their country. We want to control the Latin America. I mean, we want to control the whole world, basically. And in a way, kind of Israel too, and Saudi Arabia to some extent. And all three of those countries, they want to control the whole world. And if it comes down to that, if we do that, I hope we don't, but if we do that, then you're gonna start seeing little skirmishes, little differences here and there between the United States government, the Israeli government, and the Saudi Arabian government. Because at the end of the day, each of those countries want to control the world themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I know that some people are gonna deny that. Oh, that's anti-Semitism. Is not, because they say it. A lot of supporters of the Israeli government, whether it's IDF soldiers, whether it's women going on YouTube, whether it's the politicians, the Coup party, they want to control the world. But our government want to control the world too, and so does the Saudis. So that's what it's gonna come down to. And it is, people want to be on the side of the victors, but we're losing as Americans. We're losing. Okay, the nationals, they come in, right? I'm not talking about general immigrants that come here legally, but we could talk about that too. How we allow work visas to expire and allow them to stay here because we can make more, we can make money, continue construction and all that using illegal immigrants or illegal immigrants that which a lot of those jobs should go to Americans, because since a lot of Americans are not getting jobs or having their hours cut, days cut, like me, we're the ones that are gonna end up homeless if nothing changes. Hopefully not me, hopefully not everybody, but some people do, especially with divorces and everything else that goes on. And we got violence in this country. People killing each other every day. So how we are winners, you know what I'm saying? They say the victors the Americans are the victors, or are the American government the victors and the American people are the losers? That's one thing you have to remember. They don't support us, they support each other, they support them. Donald Trump is not a typical politician, that is true. He's the type of person that he wants to do business in another country, and if he can't, he'll go to the CIA and say, hey, look, I'm trying to make money down there. These guys won't let me. Can you fix that? The CIA, they're the plumbers, Remember, they're the plumbers, like the Nixon guys. CIA are the plumbers. They go in there and fix the sewage, fix the, and so that's what this is all about. Trump said no troops on the ground. Now he says troops on the ground. He said we already won, but we still gotta be there, and they're still sending those little toy drones in places in Israel and Qatar, And what's going to happen next? Besides, the end game of it all, but that's the end game. That's really what's going to happen. Now, what's going to happen this year? I mean, there's people who have been around a lot longer than me who are saying that this country is going to collapse. You know what I'm saying? And I'm beginning to feel, and I'm seeing that, yeah, we're seeing it with the airlines first. We're seeing what's already been going on for a little while now. Now it's just shit hitting the fan now. Got plane crashes, planes almost hitting each other. TSA workers not getting paid, so they're quitting, because it's a partial government shutdown. And now you got ICE agents roaming the airports, and you got people still going crazy on airplanes. So that causes delays, all kinds of delays, plus the weather, you name it. Eventually, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but eventually these airline companies are going to crash, in my opinion. That's why I'm scared to take the plane right now. But it's going to crash, and to me, that would be a big deal, and that would be that's like a partial economic collapse. And then we get into housing, mortgages first, the houses first. The mortgages keep going up, and I'm surprised that bubble hasn't popped. Housing, poor housing for working class people, that's falling apart. The mayors of various cities not doing what they're supposed to do, and neither are the governors. And man, it's getting crazy right now. It's not even the warm weather's not even here yet. And the reason why Saudi and Qatar are not attacking back is because they know they got Israel and the United States behind them. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. Of course, As much as I despise Trump and the two-party system, Democrats and Republicans, I, gotta give, support, love, and to, the troops, and hopefully they come back safely. Because I don't support war at all. It's not our war, and you know, but and we're seeing, like, even with the new buildings that built in New York City, here in Brooklyn, I'm seeing it, Manhattan. The spaces are empty. You had new stores. Now those new stores are already gone. So that's the next one to hit. That's the next one that's gonna make the news, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But the people that are a lot older than me, economic people and journalists and so forth, who have been around a lot longer than me, they're predicting, and they're saying, and they believe that the United States is going to collapse by the end of the year during the holidays, which is a complete collapse. Again, what I'm seeing now, I think I'm keeping an eye on that, and it looks like it's going in that direction. It's pretty bad, It's tough for me anyway, but it would have been tougher if I had kids. I still don't have kids yet, but I should. But man, I really feel bad for people who have been divorced, who gotta take care of kids, or whose spouses passed away, who gotta take care of their kids by themselves. I mean, it's gonna be tough, and but yeah, that's the direction this country is going. I see it, and I believe it. Trump. I know Mark Rubio is gonna run for president. I think Trump wants to run the third term, which again, that would be like what Maduro did. So if you're gonna call Maduro a dictator, then you gotta call Trump a dictator. Same thing, same movement, same motion. I definitely don't want Mark Rubio as president because he's a lot worse. But then again, all this that we're in right now, I blame on the American people, because we the people, we vote for these people. We voted for Trump. Everybody, a lot of people voted for Trump. A lot of people voted for Joe Biden. A lot of people voted for Obama. A lot of people voted for George W. Bush. So, we have to blame ourselves for, not me particularly, because I vote third party, but y'all have to blame yourselves for supporting Democrats and Republicans. You guys are smart. Most Americans are smart. You know that we have third-party candidates running for president that are more honest, but you don't want to vote for them because you want to be safe and you want to have at least a little piece of what you want. But do you want a little piece of what you want, or do you want complete control of it? You want everything. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get everything with Democrats or Republicans. You're not, and you're fooling yourselves. And all these YouTube content creators that they keep saying, "Yay Trump" or "Yay Democrats," y'all are misleading. In a way, respectfully, y'all misleading your followers. Don't vote Republican or Democrat. No more. Okay? Trust me. No more. It's real easy, real simple. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But I can't convince everybody, because everybody's hard. And we Americans are hard-headed. We what we want to do, what we want to do. But for the sake of the country, because the Republicans and Democrats have put us in a place where there's no turning back now, like we're seeing it now. So we know that there are other options to vote for locally first, and then in Washington, right? For all the way to local council people, to the mayor, to the governor, and then to the president. We have a choice. It's not just Democrat and Republican. We have a choice. We know this. We all know this. You all know this. Now, if you go to the voting box and Trump runs for the third term and you vote for Trump, or you vote for Mark Rubio, or you vote for Kamala Harris, or whoever's, then you have to blame yourselves for it. Then I blame you for putting us in this situation. We put ourselves in this situation. No, don't blame the politicians. Don't blame Trump because you voted for Trump. Don't blame Kamala Harris because you voted for Kamala Harris. I mean, well, she runs for president, but Obama, you know, you voted for Obama. You have to blame yourself. You voted for Trump. You gotta blame yourself. You know, so let's be smart. Let's be smart. Okay, that's one of the solutions. That's the main solution, really. Let's be smart about it. If I could do it, if I could vote third party, y'all can do it. It's no excuse. No excuse. What excuse is it not to vote for Cynthia McKinney or, well, you keep saying, oh, they're not going to win because you don't want to vote for them. They're not going to win because you don't want to vote for them because your neighbor is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because your neighbor is hard-headed and he's brainwashed because he don't care. He just wants to vote and go home. So I blame your neighbor for putting me in this situation, really. Us in this situation. So let's be smart about it. And I think us as in neighborhood by neighborhood, I think people should debate each other. Like if you find out your neighbor voted for a Democrat or Republican, you go up to them and say, why did you do that? Well, you know, I have a third party, you know? Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. This is the info age, right? Go to the internet and do some research, study, you know your laws and your rules or whatever, you know? And know your rights. Because right now, if we ever get there, if they don't suspend the election, because I do feel like if the Democrats and Republicans know that this country is going to collapse, they might suspend the elections. If they do that, they're wrong. So, because of the food shortages, they're going to say, oh, no, Trump is going to stay in office for a while, so, you know, he might try to convince everybody he might need to stay longer. Don't let him do that. And as far as, you know, war crimes and cover-ups and what we're doing to Iran, I'm surprised that the Iranian people don't say anything when we kill the civilians over there by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the Iranian society is definitely divisive. They're very they're not together. You know what I'm saying? So, and we see that with Venezuela. So, yeah, that's what I see happening, and that's what we should do. But again, we shouldn't let Trump suspend the elections. You know. And yeah, it might get worse. There might be food shortages and stuff like that. And I hope not. But a lot of economists are saying that the country is going to collapse by the end of the year. And we like I said, we put ourselves in this situation. Most Americans put us in this situation. So we have to blame ourselves. You know, and that's what I'm going to say for now. And peace to the world, peace to everybody, you know. I got to get going. It's been a while since I did a video, so it's getting cold out here. Peace.